Hello students, today we will discuss the poem A Tiger in the Zoo written by Leslie Norris from the English textbook First Flight Class 10th. The poet of this poem is Leslie Norris, who was a prize-winning poet and a short story writer. This poem is based upon the theme Importance of Freedom for All the Living Creatures. Through this poem, the poet contrasts a tiger in the zoo to the tiger in its natural habitat. In his natural surroundings, the tiger is happy and joyful, but in a cage, he is full of rage and trouble. Thus, this poem shows the importance of freedom. In the first stanza, the poet says, "He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage, on the pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage." As you can see on your screen, that rhyming scheme of this stanza is ABCB. The words cage and rage at the end of second and fourth line are rhyming, therefore they have been given the same alphabet B. And the other two lines are not rhyming, thus they are given different letters consecutively. So, he stalks in his vivid stripes. Stalks means walk. In his vivid stripes. Vivid means bright and clear. Stripes are the black lines on the body of a tiger. He walks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on the pads of velvet quiet. Pads of velvet are paws, the soft paws of the tiger. In his quiet rage. Rage here is anger. In this stanza 1, the poet has conveyed that the tiger moves up and down in his cage. The stripes on his body are of strong bright color and the tiger moves quietly on his velvet soft paws. He is full of rage but is quiet because he knows that he is helpless. In the second stanza, the poet says, "He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass." Dear students, rhyming scheme of this stanza is also ABCB. He should be lurking in shadow. Lurking means act of concealing oneself and lying in the wait to attack. So he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass. Sliding is moving through long grass near the water hole. Water hole here is small pond where plump deer pass. Plump is fat. Looking at the imprisoned tiger, the poet is filled with pity. He says that the poor tiger should have been in its natural habitat. He should have been lying in the shadow of trees and sliding quietly through the long grass. There, near the water hole, he should be waiting for some fat deer to pass that way. Thus, he should be lying there in expectation of a happy feast. But it's a pity that such a powerful, agile and untamable animal is caged in the zoo. Further in the third stanza, the poet says, "He should be snarling around houses at jungle's edge, bearing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village." The rhyming scheme of this stanza is ABCD, as there is no rhyming word at the end of any line. He should be snarling around houses. Snarling is growling. At the jungle's edge, bearing his white fangs. Bearing means showing, and white fangs are two sharp teeth at the front of the mouth of some animals. His claws, terrorizing the village. Terrorizing means threatening. The poet here gives a hint that if we destroy the natural habitat of tigers, they will be forced to turn to our towns and villages to find their food. He says that the tiger should be growling. At the edge of the jungle near the village, he should be showing his white fangs and claws while moving here and there. He should thus become a cause of terror for the villagers. In the fourth stanza, the poet again refers to the caged tiger and says, "But he is locked in the concrete cells, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors." The rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, D, as there is no rhyming word at the end of any line. So, but he is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete cell is a small and unpleasant cage. His strength behind the bars. Though the tiger is quite powerful, but his strength is behind the bars, behind the cage. Stalking the length of his cage. Stalking means walking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. The poet refers to the locked tiger in a concrete cell in the zoo. In spite of all his strength, he lies imprisoned behind the bars. Very slowly and silently, he moves up and down along the length of the cage. He takes no note of the visitor who come to the zoo to have a look at him, and he ignores those visitors. In the last stanza, the poet says, he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars. Patrolling is to go around the area at the regular times to check that it is safe or not. And stares with his brilliant eyes. Stares means to look at the brilliant stars. So the rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B, as cars and stars are rhyming with each other. In these lines, the poet refers to the tiger as he. So personification is used. According to the poet, the tiger knows no rest during the day because of the visitor. Even at night, he remains disturbed due to the noise of patrolling cars. He keeps staring at the brilliant stars with the brilliant eyes. Perhaps he is asking heaven why he has been imprisoned there. His brilliant eyes shows that he still hopes for the day when he would be able to run free in the forest. Now let us discuss the message that is conveyed through this poem. Through this poem, the poet has made an important point about wildlife conservation. The tiger belongs to the forest. There it can hunt as and when required. It hunts not out of envy or out of hatred as humans do, but only as a survival strategy. His presence in the natural habitat is necessary to maintain the balance of food chain. Human believes that the tiger is dangerous, but in fact, humans cause danger to the natural habitat of wild animals and cage them for their selfish purposes. The poem also highlights that freedom is a natural instinct for all the living creatures. Now look at the literary devices used in the poem. First one is metaphor, that is an implied comparison. So in this poem, tiger's paws are compared with velvet in the phrase pads of velvet. Next is enjambment. Sentences are continuing to the next line without any punctuation mark. Next is oxymoron. By using the adjective opposite in meaning in the same line, such as quiet rage, to express anger of the tiger in the cage. Next is onomatopoeia. Which words donates sound? So here in this poem, the word snarling is used. Next is personification. Personification is a figure of speech in which a thing, an idea, or an animal is given human attributes. So, in this poem, tiger is personified as the poet refers it to as he. Next is repetition. The poet has used repeated words in the phrases such as velvet quiet, quiet rage, brilliant eyes, brilliant stars. Next is alliteration, that is repetition of consonant sounds. For example, plump, pass. Here, consonant sound P is repeated. Next is stalk, stripes, where consonant sound S is repeated. That's all about the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. Hope you find it fruitful and easy to understand. Thank you.